Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hi, my name is Doria. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I make my matcha mango hair slash body butter. It's a little heavy on the oils, but personally my hair loves that. So just be mindful of that. You can use it as a hair mask as well as like a hot oil treatment. So don't run away if you feel like this will make your hair greasy. You can easily use it as a mask or as a body butter. So a couple things before I get into the video. I decided to only use mango butter just because this year was me finding out that one, my hair does not like coconut oil, and I think my hair's on the fence with shea butter. I do not know, so this was me testing out, seeing how my hair just reacted to mango butter. Now that being said, if you do find this mixture to be a little too oily for you, you can always add a harder butter like shea butter or cocoa butter, maybe even beeswax to maybe kind of even it out and help all the oils sit better. Just because I just use mango butter and I'm using a lot of oils, there's a risk of melting. So mango butter melts at roughly 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and as of right now in Texas, it's on the low end of 90s, so I can get away with not putting this in the fridge. However, I just personally put it in the fridge because I don't use it that often, and I'll just set it out 5 to 10 minutes before I need it for it to melt. So you can leave it out. If it's not too hot, it won't melt. It'll just be really soft, and that's pretty much it. You can use it straight out the fridge as well. You just put it in your hand, rub it together, do what you have to do. So without further ado, here is how I make my matcha mango hair slash body butter. Jumping right in, you're going to need avocado oil, mango butter, sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, matcha green tea powder, lavender and tea tree oil, rosemary oil, and optional a scent. In this case, I'm using dragon's blood. Starting off, because I know this is a 8-ounce bar, I'm just cutting it in half, taking out 4 ounces and putting the rest aside. Now I'm just cutting the mango butter into smaller pieces because the smaller the pieces, the faster it melts. So I just wanted to speed up the process a little bit. Once done, I'm just going to take that mango butter and put it in a heat-resistant bowl, and this is what I'm going to melt everything down in. Next, I'm just going to add hot water to a pot. You can always bring this up to a boil, but I just went ahead, put hot water, set this stove on low so it stayed warm, and then place the bowl that contained the mango butter in the water. Letting it melt at its own pace, so occasionally I go in and stir it just to get everything moving around, but I just let this sit. It only took roughly, I want to say less than 10 minutes for it to completely melt down. Once melted, you just safely remove it from the stove and place it aside so it can cool down. While that cools down, we're going to go ahead and mix the matcha powder so that it blends smoothly overall with the whole mixture. So I'm just taking a serving size of my powder, which is 1 scoop. Having a little trouble getting it out, but just adding that in. And then I kind of just eyeballed the avocado oil. Roughly about 15 ounces of avocado oil was added, and I just mixed that with a wooden stir until all the matcha powder is dissolved, and then I just place it to the side until the mango butter has finished cooling to about room temperature. Pro tip: to help reduce cleanup time, do everything over paraffin or wax paper. Once the mango butter has finished cooling to about room temperature, we can begin to add the other ingredients. Starting off with 6 ounces of sweet almond oil, 15 ounces of jojoba oil, about 10 drops of rosemary oil, or if you have vitamin E, that works as well. I was just using rosemary because I was out of vitamin E and I needed a natural preserver. Next, add in your 10 drops of lavender / tea tree oil, or if you have them in separate bottles, just add 5 drops of each. Next, we are going to add that matcha powder mixed with the avocado oil, giving it a little stir before we pull it in. Now, this will not completely dissolve. As you can see, the matcha powder is a whole lot heavier than the oil, so it sinks to the bottom. We're going to remedy that. We're just going to keep stirring it as we're going to let the mixture keep cooling. We're going to let it sit on the counter for about 20 more minutes, and then I'm going to add in my final step. This could be it for you if you don't want to add a scent, but I am adding in about 10 drops of dragon's blood. This is from a company called Element Bath. I'll have the link in the description down below, but if you want a scent, add it here. If not, just leave it alone. Give it one final stir, and then if you are a patient soul, you can let it sit on the counter until this mixture starts to harden. But because of all the oils, it may take a while, so I strongly suggest just watching it with it going in and out of the freezer. So I took it out of the freezer after about 20 minutes, and I thought it was all the way hardened. It was not, so I just went ahead and separated it with my stirring stick. Setting my hand blender to the lowest setting, I just began to whip everything together. As you can see, this is not hard enough. It's just kind of like a goopy little paste. So I just went ahead and finished mixing it, but then obviously I had to put it back in the freezer just so I could get it a little bit harder. Now, I should have just had this in the freezer for a total of maybe 25-28 minutes because I kept it in for another 10, putting at a total of 30, and it came out to be a little too hard. But that's okay. I attempted to put the spatula through it. It did not work, but I just took the blender again on the first setting and then just went ahead and whipped it again until I got that nice fluffy texture we're used to with our whipped butters. The only difference with this is that it wasn't a smooth consistency just because I froze the butter a little too long, but that is okay because I'm keeping this in the fridge anyway, and even if it wasn't in the fridge, it softens really quickly, so it doesn't become a problem. Once done, all that's left is just to store. So I'm just using a old hair container that I rinsed out. You can put this in a glass mason jar, whatever works for you. But I'm just scooping that out and placing it in the jar. And that is pretty much it. That is how I made my quote-unquote whipped matcha mango butter. Some simple cleanup tips is to fill your sink with hot soapy water, so the hotter you can get it, the better. If you have a pair of dish gloves, use them so you don't burn your hands. And if you can have separate, bowls and containers for your oils, that makes cleanup a whole lot easier because that way you don't have to be 100% perfect when you clean them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got nothing else really except what I said earlier about mixing in maybe a harder butter if you want a more whipped consistency. That was the one thing I learned about mango butter, is that there's a fine window between freezing and hardening, and I kind of went over more into it getting too cold, so it whipped okay, but then putting it into the separate container was just eh. But I've used it to re-moisturize my hair in these twists, so I've taken my hair out, detangled with the oil, and that's been pretty much it. I still use my Balance Guru drops on my scalp, but my routine has been that simple and I am loving it. Again, you can use it as a hair mask, a body butter. If you have texture like mine, you might get away with just using it as a moisturizer. So I have 4C. I feel like my hair is more on the fine side, but for some reason my hair does just not hold moisture, so this has been very helpful in that front. And I find that this butter, because it is so oily, it works best with protective styles just because it's not going to weigh your hair down. Granted, most of the oils are light-ish, but there's a lot, so be mindful of that. So yeah, if your hair is having a hard time holding moisture, try messing with different ingredients, seeing which your hair prefers. I'm trying to think what else. Just experiment. That's the best I can tell you with DIYs. Again, you can change out any of the oils. In this video, the main thing was just the matcha powder and the mango butter. But again, do what works for you. Let me know down in the comments below if you gave this a try or if you used matcha, any kind of butter before. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out my last few videos. I do make videos every single week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!